Live now. Here we go. Here we go. We got it.
You don't run your intro anymore?
Now we're live right now.
Oh,
Let me see.
hey,
Let me
hello.
get here. Hey everybody, how y'all doing? We're kind of catching up here. I had some camera problems, and Charlie lost the link, and we just been sitting in here just kind of shooting the breeze for a few minutes and kind of got behind. But hope everybody's doing okay. I'm doing fine. Spencer, you're doing okay, aren't you?
Yeah.
We're alive and kicking. That's the main thing. And you've got an on the air sign back there. I just noticed that.
Yeah, I do.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool. But
Yeah.
things have been good. Weather's been pretty nice. It's been real hot here. But you know how that goes. Let me see.
It's real hot, then it rains, then it gets really hot and humid.
Yeah. Let's see if he's got it. Yeah, he's got the link now. It should be here in a minute. But we're running the air conditioner just about all the time now. You just kind of have to.
I'm getting ready to buy one of those what they call a cassette air conditioners, because when we bought our house, it was. Hello, Charlie.
Hello.
There he is.
When we bought our house, it was a small house. It had like a carport, like a normal house does, has a carport.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was 3-bedroom, 2-bath, but it was small on the inside. So what we did was we blew out some walls and we turned the carport into a living room and built a carport on the side of it. So anyway, when I built the house, I didn't think about walls. Mm-hmm. So my big air conditioner is in my living room, and there's just walls and doors, and it gets freezing cold in the living room, but it doesn't penetrate into the rest of the house. So my air conditioners are running nonstop to keep it cool. So we're going to buy a cassette air conditioner. It's called. It goes in the ceiling, and put it in the dining room. So that way, it's like 32,000 BTUs.
Yeah,
and we'll just shut the door in the living room because we don't ever go in there very much, and just use the cassette air conditioner to keep the rest of the house cool.
I've not seen that anywhere.
Yeah, it goes in the ceiling. They're kind of expensive, but
I bet, yeah. Well,
but if it saves an electricity bill, it's just my little air conditioners are having such a hell of a time keeping the house cool that I need it.
Well, my old house that we sold had a huge living room, and the guy that bought it, I never did put air conditioning in the living room, but he ended up putting 2 air conditioners in. He had to, to cool the thing off. And I've seen that done in a few places, but that you're running 2 air conditioners is going to be expensive.
Yeah.
When you think about it, I think you'll see the difference, with just running 1 air conditioner. And then
your living room was wide open though. Air conditioner in there would have cooled like the kitchen off too, and other parts of the house.
Yeah, because we had an open kitchen too.
Mine is all walls and glass doors, so it's blocked everywhere. Yeah.
So that's your new apartment, huh?
Charlie? Yeah, how do I look? It's the first time I set up the studio.
Yeah, you look good. You look like you're sitting in a hallway there. And
did you move?
It's kind of small. I was hoping when it gets dark, that view behind me might look kind of cool. So I set it up.
That's pretty cool. Now, how was your trip to Ayutthaya? Did you enjoy it?
I really enjoyed it. I liked it a lot. I found Ayutthaya to be I don't know, it just had a nice feel to it. I like the vegetation. You got the river that runs through it, and of course, there's the old monuments from
the old temples.
Yeah, and what happened is Bulkow and a family rented these old silk style costumes, and they put on crowns and stuff.
Yeah,
this salon full of ladyboys is really kind of interesting to watch. There's all these great big fat ladyboys. And they're the makeup artists and the people that put the costumes together. They do a really good job, and it was like it was a slam dunk photo shoot for me. I didn't get to editing them yet, but I got a bunch of great photographs, and that's why they brought me along. They needed a photographer. And it was a very pleasant day. I'd like to go up there and explore Ayutthaya a little bit more. I've come to feel like everything north of Bangkok and east side, except for a few mountainous regions where there are parks, are all the same. You go through one town after another, and they're all the same thing. There's not a lot of variety around, and I found Ayutthaya was a little bit different. So I want to go back and explore a little bit.
Well, that's the ancient capital of Thailand, isn't it?
Yes,
it is. Yeah, the temples there are really beautiful. You really get some decent pictures there.
I've driven through it about 5 times.
I'm sorry?
Said I've driven through it about 5 times and stopped for boat noodles once, but that was it.
Yeah, it's a pretty little town.
It is. It's a nice town, and certainly the ancient ruins are interesting. And one of them, there's one section of these ancient ruins with this big old stupa. It looks a little like Angkor Wat, that style of construction, only just not the grand scale of Angkor Wat. And there was this one section that was surrounded with scaffolding. I guess they're restoring it to as best they can. And on the banner over up above the project was a bunch of stuff in Thai that I couldn't read, but there were flags of a couple of different countries, the United States being one of them. So I thought we're paying for that somehow.
I don't remember seeing that.
Probably writing them checks, but it's like I support that. I think it's a good thing to support antiquities. And actually, the United States has been an ally of Thailand and Siam dating back to the U.S. Civil War.
Yeah.
It's interesting, our and I'm sure you're seeing it too, Spencer. You may not see it because you probably don't get it, but our consulate here has a Facebook page, and the new consulate general here, the one that just came, is basically she's going around seeing everybody, and there's pictures of her meeting this person, that person, and the other thing. So, whether they're actually accomplishing anything, I have no clue, and I really, really don't care.
Have you driven past the new consulate they're building?
I have driven past the wall. I haven't been able to see it.
It's a monstrosity, man.
$256 million.
I mean, it looks like a big fortress.
Yeah. And I have always said,
and they still won't have American Citizen Services worth the damn there.
Well, I know
kick us out for everything.
You can't get your passport there anymore. And,
they used to allow us retired military to have an APO box there where we could get free mail. Then they complained they didn't want to lug our mail from Bangkok to Chiang Mai. Yeah. And you would think, well, with this big facility, maybe they'll bring it back, but I doubt it.
No, they don't. I think it's crazy. It's just I don't whatever. Go ahead, Charlie.
My conclusion about that facility, as you point that out, it's very expensive rebuild, is it is the center of clandestine United States clandestine activities for Asia. You got to remember, there's a deep relationship here in Thailand with the clandestine services and Thailand. They've been working hand in glove, and I'm sure there's good money in it for Thailand. That probably that motivates them.
I don't know.
And they are an ally. I don't want to just dismiss that.
They swear up and down it's not going to be a spy hub, so who knows?
Yeah, really? Who said that?
Yeah, they have, because the Thai people got mad and actually
they were protesting it.
They were protesting out in front of the embassy that we have, or the consulate that we have now, that is perfect. I mean, I love that place. I like going by there. I like seeing it. It's the old, looks like an old fort right there, and it's right there by the river.
Got murals on the walls and stuff.
And it to me, to move it someplace else is just ludicrous. I mean, I have always said, for what they provide us as citizens, they could work out of a 3-story shop house and rent the 2 top floors. I mean, without a doubt.
You said that when I went up there, and I was like, yeah, you're right.
It's true, And I'll give you, for instance, my passport ran out back, it runs out, actually it would have run out in October, but my visa expires in October, so I had to get my passport redone. And and it was just it was like reading the directions to try to put together a something I didn't know
IKEA
anything
furniture.
about. Yeah. So I sent him an email and I said, "Can you still get a passport at the consulate?" And the first email I got says that they said they gave me the link to what they have on their website about doing it by mail. And finally, I emailed them again and I said, "Listen," I said, "I don't want to have to deal with that." I said, "I just want to walk in and get my passport." I said, "I'm right in the middle of cancer treatment." And I said, can I get an appointment?" And they finally, emailed me back and said, "Yeah, you can." So I went in and I got an appointment and I went down there, with all my paperwork or my things and my credit card to pay it. And when I get in there, they don't have the forms out. The forms were not, out in the little thing there where that you can get the forms and fill out the form to get the thing. So I had to go back inside to the guy and say, "Hey, you don't have any forms." I got those forms. I filled them out and went back in, and he's processing them. Their credit card machine was broken, so they couldn't take credit cards. Now they didn't say this when I first spoke. So he said, I said, "I don't have that kind of money." He said, "Well, you got to go find an ATM." I said, "Well, where is the closest ATM?" The closest ATM from the consulate's about 5 blocks up the river. So I left. I walked out. I got up I found the ATM machine. I got the money out. And I came back, and then I paid them, and then I had to buy a prepaid mailer so they could mail it back to me, and that was $100, which I didn't mind, but it was just such a you think about a country that can do so much, and they can't even service you for a passport without.
Yeah, they treat us like crap here, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and now they won't even do them. Now you have to do it. You have to do it online. And to me, if they're going to build a $256 million complex, let them provide some services for the the people that are here. They won't provide you any information on Social Security because they don't know anything about it. I just think it's crazy. I don't, I'm still bitter from when we were trying to get the vaccines over here and the State Department refused to help us. I'm still bitter from back then. They all got their vaccines, but we didn't, we had to fight for ours. And fortunately, had it not been for that senator in, I think, Illinois, we probably wouldn't have got them,
Oh, yeah. Tammy Duckworth.
we would have ended up with junk. But, it just doesn't seem right to me. But, I'm, like I said, I'm just a retired old man living here in Thailand. They don't really care about us. So I get
you look at like the Canadian consulate here, the Indian consulate, they're just small little houses.
Yeah, I know.
It's not 256 million, that's for sure.
No. Well, the India one is right on Hangdong Road. I go by it all the time. Yeah. And the Chinese embassy,
that's kind of right across. Old.
Yeah, it's right across from the that park there on the southwest corner, and it's not nothing real fancy. But I haven't been by the one up on the superhighway in a long time. Last time I went by, they had walls up so high you couldn't really see what was going on, and I didn't really want to look. And,
I was by there today, actually.
Yeah. And
now they got the building. The building's higher than the wall now.
Oh, really? Huh.
Yeah. So.
Amazing, just amazing. That's all of our. To me, I think they could have maybe spent that money a little bit wiser, but it is what it is.
That's what we're famous for, though, blowing money.
Yeah, you're right. Anyway.
So where do you live now, Charlie? What area of town in Bangkok?
I moved to Hanoi.
Hanoi.
And I'm surprisingly even more pleased than I thought I might be. I like it here a lot. It's because I've been living away from the Sukhumvit. I was about a mile away from Sukhumvit road. So that means you'd have to take a taxi or a bus or walk. And, not that that's the end of the world, but, now I go out my front door. I have a covered walkway between my apartment building and the BTS.
Oh, really?
And there's a Tops Market, a Big C, shortly nearby, a Lotus, big old Lotus Supercenter right across the street.
Oh, nice.
Several restaurants. And at night, a horde of push carts show up on both sides of Sukhumvit with all manner of food available, and it's a very busy area with every amenity that you could want, and plus there's a pool and a gym here, which I've been using a lot as well. So I'm kind of pleased.
Great.
And as you can see, it's kind of small, but I don't spend a lot of time in it anyway, and I have a bedroom over here. So I do have 2 rooms, but. It's good for I'm happy and comfortable here. Thanks for asking, and I'm saving a ton of money.
I bet you are. Yeah,
that's always helpful.
Now, how far are you from Soy Cowboy and all that?
About 12 minutes in the BTS.
Okay.
I'm kind of glad to be out of that reach. This Annut, when they first started building the BTS, the Annut station was the terminal station for a while. Now it goes well beyond here now. But this was kind of considered, you're kind of getting out of that Sukhumvit area. And there are more Thai people than expats here, although there are expats as well. And they built these 3 buildings around the complex that I live in is comprised of 3 different high-rise buildings, I think 16 stories each. And I guess they're about, 12 years old, 10, 12 years old. And they went up along with the BTS, the elevated the elevated rail system that's right outside, and that continues to happen. And like cities everywhere, they're expanding into areas that were once considered rather suburban, and but the area is primarily Thai, as opposed to down in the Soy Cowboy area where it's tourists, and I've been taking, my Thai is improving. I've been taking formal lessons finally. I guess I should have done that a while ago. Because I'm kind of good with picking stuff up. I can pick it up by just listening and repeating. But now with the formal language process, I realize I'm learning a lot more quickly. I'm beginning to hear the tones and learn the inflections a little bit better. So I'll be able to interact, within a matter of weeks, maybe months, I'll be able to interact with Thai people a whole lot more efficiently than I could in the past as well.
Well, that'll be fun. That'll be fun.
I'm learning how to. My lesson tomorrow is we're going to learn how to flirt.
You're going to learn how. Yeah, you need that one.
Yeah, right.
Oh, how many are you taking? Are you taking a class with other people or?
No, one-on-one class.
One-on-one.
A studio recommended by this guy who was one of my yoga students, and he's a polyglot. He's one of these guys that speaks several different languages. He's really good at it. And he started talking to me. He said, listen, he says, if you want to learn a language, he says, you need to sit down and study it. He says, there's no way around it. He says, there's no simple way it's just going to seep into your brain. You have to take formal lessons. And he was taking lessons with this with this school, and it's a Gentana and Associates, and Gentana is a woman who's, 50-ish in that area, very pleasant woman, and I'm working with one of her teachers who's been doing this for 18 years, and what I'm really pleased about is she comes from, I'm trying to remember the name of the place, right next to Loy Province, where my girlfriend Bokow's family was from, and I know a lot about Loy, and she's from the adjoining province, so she's able to tell me a lot of folklore about that area.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, which I do find interesting.
Yeah. This question: do you do or have plans around Chiang Mai of showing the outer side? Yeah, I do. When I get back full time into making YouTube videos again, I'll get out in some of the other areas because I've pretty much covered everything inside the city. But I'll do some around here and some of the other places. But in time. Right now, I think I'm still a part-time YouTuber now. I'm not really, I'm not putting one. I'm maybe put one video out every couple of weeks or something. But after I get back into things and start swinging things, I'll do some places outside, and I do have some videos already up outside of Chiang Mai as well. There's some of the older ones that I've done. There's one I did that was in South Sampatong. There's a doll factory down there that a guy he has dolls from all over the world. It was really interesting. I did one down there, and I've done a couple around here in Hangdong too, but they're the older ones that are way down on the bottom of the list, so you really have to dig for them. But yeah, I do plan on doing that at some point.
Yeah, you should go do one up by Doi Su Tap, and then stop at that waterfall where I almost fell in.
Where you almost fell in and yeah, busted your butt. Now I did do a video up at Doi Su Tap. I'm trying to think of when I did it. It was quite a while back, but it was a time when there wasn't anybody there. I mean, it was just, there were no tourists. There wasn't anybody there. And I didn't
Sticky Waterfalls is famous over there.
Yeah. Now I've been up to Sticky Waterfalls. I did a video up there. Now the thing about, Charlie, did I take you to Sticky Waterfalls? I believe I did, didn't I? Yeah.
Yes, you did. I did a video about it as well.
Yeah. But I think when you and I went, they have a walk that walks you all around the falls. It actually goes 360 degrees around it. It's really nice. But I think when you and I went there, it was closed because the trees had fallen down. But that is, that's one of the things that, if somebody comes to Chiang Mai, it's well worth the 45-minute ride to go up to Sticky Waterfalls to see that. It's really interesting, and you can go swimming, you can climb on the rocks and stuff, and just have a good time. Yeah, there's a lot of things here that outside. Now I have done some up at Mae Thang. I did 2 videos up there, up in the mountains, and flew the drone through the clouds and all that crap. And that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. There are a lot of things to do and a lot of things to see here, and we could live here forever, and I don't think we could see them all. I don't know.
My brother-in-law and sister-in-law were just here. Well, they're actually leaving tonight, and he came in. He came in Friday? Yeah, Friday he came in, and yesterday they had a 42-kilometer trail run up in Doi Su Tap.
I saw that,
and he did that.
Did he really?
Yeah, he finished it. He runs a lot. He goes to marathons all over Bangkok. Yeah. He lives in Bangkok. Yeah. So he goes to all these marathons all over, but they flew up here to do that. He did 42-kilometer trail run. And today the sister-in-law was doing a 20-kilometer run.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's interesting. Now my doctor, Dr. Morgan, she's big into that. She does them all the time. I think she did that one, but she did one that was, I think 100 kilometers one time. And just amazing that they do up through the mountains. And Charlie, where they go is they go right up where, you remember the coffee place where I went, where I took you? Yeah. They go right up through there, and then they come back down the backside and come in behind the park up there with the lakes with all the, the gorillas and all that stuff. They come in that way, but that's more than I can handle, I'm sure.
If I do over 5 kilometers on my bike, I'm proud of myself.
Yeah. Well, I was just about to say the same thing. I did 25 kilometers the day before yesterday, and I've not been back on the bike yet. I'll probably go back tomorrow or the next day. But
how do you feel? Are you sore?
Who, me? No. The bike riding doesn't bother me a bit. I could probably ride a whole lot longer, but it was hot. And what I did was I left out here. I went out towards the river, caught the river, and then I went south a little ways down by a little place where I just like to sit and drink water by the river, and then I came back out through Bantawai and back in, and it was 25 kilometers. But no, that really doesn't faze me. I could do more.
That's good.
But I don't want to overdo it right now. I'm trying to stick around between 20 and 30 kilometers, and it's pretty good. And I try to do that every day. I didn't do it today, and I didn't do it yesterday, and I doubt very seriously that I'll do it tomorrow, because tomorrow I've got to go in and get my my immune therapy treatment tomorrow. I don't know if I'll stay the night or not. we'll have to see what the doctor says. I hope they start letting me go home. I hate staying in that damn hospital, but I've only got to do that. I've got to do it this time, and then I've got 11 more times to do it. But it's every 4 weeks. It'll be one day every 4 weeks. So, but I'm figuring that it's probably going to be sometime around April, about the 1st of April, that I'll finish that. Going one day a month, or it isn't really that much of an inconvenience. And the way they do it in the States is they just give you a drip. It's about a 35 minute drip, and then you're free to go home. But here they like to keep you and fill you full of fluids and all that, and take all the blood tests. So I don't know how it's going to run, whether it's going to be a full day or just a few hours. But whatever it is, I'll come home. But I doubt very seriously I'll ride my bike tomorrow.
So Spencer, you have a YouTube channel as well, don't you?
Yeah, I have one active one and one not so active one. Yeah.
What's the name on the active one? Salty.
Yeah, you can just type @3salty, but it's 2 manky yanks and a nutter.
Yeah. It's comical. If y'all
it's a great title.
Channel out. Yeah. We're very political and we talk about recent events, but it's kind of slanted one way. We don't appeal to the left very much. So well, that's all right. That's all right. I have fun with it. All my videos are demonetized anyway. So it's not like you're going to make any money doing them.
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious if you've seen, or either one of you or both of you have seen a fall off in that. I'm not really making videos much anymore either. I do have one planned soon. If that, I became friends with an American guy who's managing a go-go bar on Soy Cowboy, and which I just find interesting. I thought that would make a nice interview, and he said yes, but he keeps postponing it. We'll see. If he does do that, I'll put that up. I think because he's kind of a charismatic guy, and I think he'd make for a good video. But as I'm watching YouTube now from a more detached place, I'm not in that guy. I wanted to pull myself out of that game. I found myself it was becoming like work, and I don't want to work.
Yeah.
And I'm beginning to notice a lot of popular YouTubers from a lot of different kinds of. I watch economics. I watch some of the travel guys. Even the guys in the Philippines, who I claim not to like very much. I always find myself drawn to their videos and watching them. And all of them, even like Patty Doyle and others, big guys. There's this one guy, Simon, who's a travel vlogger, and he's huge, and he's just a charming, Brit guy. He's from Wales, and he travels around the world doing silly stuff, like he has a board game that he rolls the dice that tells him where he's going to next, and off he goes, to cross the Phosphorus Bridge, stuff like that. But he's just a charming guy, so he has a big following. And all of them that I just mentioned all seem to be complaining about or conscious of and adapting their video strategy to falling viewership. And is that kind of going on across the board, do you think?
I don't know. I have watched a lot of channels now seem to be kind of slowing down a little bit. And you look at I kind of look at my videos and I see how many times YouTube will show the videos, the thumbnail to people, and that seems to be dropping, a lot, not as much as they're not showing them to as many people as they used to. Now, whether it's because I haven't been uploading often, or whether it's just, this is just not a popular topic, I don't know, but I am seeing that it doesn't seem to be quite as busy as what it used to be. And I'm looking at some of the other channels too that were normally, putting a video up and they'd get, 7,000, 8,000 views in, maybe a day or two. They're not getting the views either. They're not getting the views that we used to get. And part of that could be, back when I first started, COVID was pretty rampant and people weren't getting out a little bit. And now people are starting to get out a little bit more. So, the YouTube, the sitting back watching YouTube videos for, 4 or 5 hours, to keep yourself occupied just isn't happening like what had happened, maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Yeah, that makes
I
sense.
find myself not watching YouTube as much as I used to,
Yeah, it's like there's nothing that creative or new. What was kind of exciting 4 years ago, I don't know if exciting's the right word, but it was new. It was something interesting. This guy wandering around jungles somewhere talking about, hey, look at this guy over here with a bone in his nose, or whatever it is that's going on. Yeah. And now you've been there, done that, seen it all. It's got the T-shirt, and it's like, okay, it's like
somebody
it's
told
hard
me
to find
that
anything new and original.
Yeah.
Somebody told me that most people's attention span is about 2 minutes on YouTube.
Exactly.
So that's the reason. What do they call them? YouTube Shorts or whatever.
Yeah.
Shorts,
are so popular now because they just glance at them on their phone and then flip to the next one and flip to the next one. They don't want to watch these long format videos anymore. It seems like.
Well, that's true, and I think YouTube has hurt themselves by promoting the shorts as much as they have, because there are some people that would like to watch long form content, but they get sucked into the short forms, and I don't know the strategy behind the advertising on the shorts.
I don't show an ad on something that you watch for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
I don't see it there. I know the revenue for them. For me as a content creator, the revenue is definitely not there for creating shorts. I mean, I might get a penny over a course of 3 months, for one short video, and I've not had any, really go viral or anything like that. So I don't know how that works.
Hey, it's better than being a writer. I'm a writer, and I put my stuff up on Quora.com, which is a writer's site where I do pretty well in terms of viewerships, and my total views are 1.7 million views, and I'm monetized on that. I made $19.37.
Wow. All right.
That's pretty good.
I'm like, damn, what are you going to do to make a living there?
Yeah.
I took one of my essays from that about September 11th. I have a September 11th story, right? And there was on Twitter, which I joined up. I got the blue check mark and all that, and I'm just playing with them, sticking different stuff up there, see what sticks, right? And there was a history profile that put up a 9/11 story, and I remember I was falling asleep at the time, and I wasn't even going to do it. I was like, I could cut and paste that. My most popular YouTube essay was not a very long essay, but, maybe a page and a half kind of story about my experience on 9/11. I was on an airplane, and it was kind of dramatic experience, right? And that had 500,000 views on its own. That story it was my number one essay on Quora. So I just went to Quora, copied, pasted it into this Twitter profile as a comment. It wasn't even my profile. I was commenting on somebody else's thing. Now, there's somebody else happened to be a very popular channel that does historical stuff, right? And I stick it on there, and it's tied. I went to bed. I woke up the next morning, 2 million views. I was like, oh,
dang.
Hey, I'm viral, right? That kind of thing. It's like, then what do you do, right? So with anything that's very popular on any social media, you get all the doubters and the haters and the weirdos and the tinfoil people. Although the tinfoil people didn't come out because I'm a bit of an expert on the whole 9/11 thing, and I think they know that, so they don't want to interject their craziness in on it. Oh, I did get one or two. And so I think, I should write a longer piece. And actually, some woman who was a writer who seemed to really appreciate what I wrote says you should do an expanded version. So I did. And I spent 2 days, over the course of 2 days, expanding this out and putting it up. And it was it was more emotionally evocative than I expected it to be. It brought me back into that era, and I felt, I felt the emotion of writing it. Let's put it that way. And I finally put it up on Twitter. Now, because it's so long, I had to put it up in 4 separate tweets. Each tweet is a chapter, and you link them together. There's a way to do it to make it coherent. And that didn't go viral, but people are reading it. And what I got a kick out of is the first part, the first chapter, which is the shortest one, got about 2,000 views. Now, if you scroll down to the fourth one, it's got like 60 views. So that speaks to what you're talking about. They don't read. People don't read. They read the first one because I had a picture of Mark Knopfler up on it. Mm-hmm. It's a long story to how he got tied into it. Mark Knopfler wrote a song called "If This Is Goodbye," and "If This Is Goodbye" was about 9/11, and that's how I worked into it. And so that got hit a lot. But once they realized I had to read, it was like, yeah, I'm out of here. People don't read either.
No, they don't read.
Yeah. I've noticed that people don't, when look at, if I have a video that runs 20 minutes and I've got average watch time of 12 minutes, I feel like I've done real well,
That's good. Yeah.
Because, they normally don't stay very long. And
that's more than half. Actually, that's very good.
Yeah. And if I can keep their attention for that long.
When I was making videos, if I got 30%, I was happy.
Yeah, that's pretty much about what it is. Usually they figure it by whoever stays on it longer than, I think it's 60 seconds or something like that. I forgot exactly how they did that. But, just your average. If you average them watching half the video, you're in good shape. You've done something great. Like father, like dog. Guys, I'm gonna take a break.
That's my very rare albino pug.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, he's quite unique. He's an albino, so he has a pink and black nose, and he cost me 14,000 baht.
Wow.
Yeah.
Drove
down to Bangkok to get him.
I could have got you a whole bunch of soy dogs for far less than that.
I know it. Yeah, the kind of camera I'm using, I think somebody asked that. It's a Razer Kaio Pro. It's like an all-metal base to it. I had it imported over here from Amazon. I guess you can buy them here.
He's grown a lot.
Yeah, he's full grown now. Actually,
you're feeding that dog good.
Yeah, no, he's full grown. He's a year old now, almost.
Wow.
So he's about 18 pounds, which is about the pug size.
That's kind of big for a pug, isn't it?
No, not really. They males get between 16 and 18 pounds. So,
now, do the two of them get along good? You two,
except whenever food is introduced into the picture, then they just want to fight all the time.
That's funny. Oh God. Yeah. That's interesting. Did you all see? And I'm sure you have. I'm probably going to make a video about it eventually. But see about the foreigner that was on the airplane, the Thai Airways plane in Chiang Mai.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
He was like a Middle Eastern guy, I think.
What happened?
He had boarded a plane in Chiang Mai to go, I think, to Bangkok, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Well, the plane leaves the gate and it's taxiing down the runway, and he realizes that he has left his bag in one of the lounges.
Yeah.
That had his passport, his money, and everything else. Well, the plane's taxiing, it's going towards the runway, and it was pretty close to the runway. And he raised such a fit that the pilot finally turned the airplane around and dropped him off. And I don't know if they took everybody off the plane or not. I know they took him off.
Yeah, they did.
They didn't let him back on, but
they roughly took him off the plane.
Yeah, they were not real happy about his actions, and definitely a foreigner. I couldn't tell whether he was an American or what he was. It just showed the back of his head, and you really couldn't hear him speaking in the video. But really, just taking a big chance. That's something. Back in the States, you do that, and you're going to get off the plane, but you're not going to go home.
You'd probably be on a no-fly thing for 10 years.
Oh yeah, and probably go to jail too.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to understand that turning that plane around, even on the tarmac there, probably cost them thousands of dollars. The way those things burn fuel, let alone it. From what I read, the plane was already 45 minutes late, and it made it even later. So, but that's the big.
They pay a parking fee to park at those gates for a certain period of time.
Oh, is that how it is?
And then if the plane departs that gate, it's slotted in for another plane that's already paid. So if you have to bring a plane back to the gate, you're paying double for that.
Damn.
So I'm sure they were pretty upset about that.
Reminds me of the Korean the daughter of the president of Korean Air.
I remember
the plane go back to the terminal after departure because her nuts weren't heated, her peanuts.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to get peanuts heated in a little finger bowl. And I suppose she was in first class. Yeah. And she raised such a fuss, and she turned the plane around. And that's the funny part about Koreans. They're so rule-minded and authority-minded that they actually paid attention to her and turned the damn plane around. And so, although they did pay a price for it, she was like shamed by the entire country. But it's like
I remember when that happened.
Nasty old.
Yeah, I remember reading about it.
Yeah, remember that? I thought that was my daddy is the CEO. I mean, she was an adult herself. She wasn't a kid. Yeah, I want my warm catching nuts.
Says, how can you get on board without a passport? Up here, if you're just going within country, you don't have to have your passport with you.
Yeah,
you can show them a driver's license or whatever. Now, why he got through the gate without realizing it, I have no idea.
Yeah, you can go up to the gate. They're going to look at your passport at the counter if you're a foreigner. But if you're flying domestic, I don't think they double check it at the gate.
No. And your driver's license, Thai driver's license, is actually linked to your passport. So your passport number is your Thai driver's license number. People didn't know that, so you can just show them your driver's license, and they're good with that.
Yeah, but as long as it's in country. The guy getting to the lounge area in front of the gate, where after you go through security and all that other stuff, you put your bag down, and then he could have had his boarding pass in his pocket or something. He went up, got on the plane, and left the stupid bag behind him.
Yeah.
I mean, I almost always hand my passport just out of automatic stuff, but I don't think.
Yeah, I do too.
That's his fault, though. I mean, if that airplane turned around, then he should be liable to pay all those fees that the airlines had to pay.
Exactly.
It ain't like in the USA where they keep you on the tarmac for 3 hours in 100-degree heat. And people revolting about that. That's the airline's fault, but this is the guy's fault.
Yeah, I'm amazed that he didn't get carted off to jail. Nothing that I've read said that he got arrested or anything like that. So it sounds like he got a free pass on it. Whether they let him back on another airplane, I don't know.
You were speaking about YouTube videos. I noticed you made a comment. There's a new guy that's doing videos up here. I don't guess he's new. He was doing 8 things to know about Chiang Mai or something. He was talking about the good and bad of Chiang Mai.
I haven't seen. I've probably seen.
He was doing a walking video like you do, but he was going around the stupas and stuff. And he was talking about the good and bad things like visas and I don't remember all the things. The smoggy season, how it's bad. And you made a couple comments on his post. He seems to be new about it. You don't know who I'm talking about?
John Canton?
Maybe.
John?
He has a beard. I know that.
John. No, that could be Walkabout Wayne.
No, it wasn't him. It was somebody I didn't notice. I never recognized the name before.
Huh.
I'll send you the link to it.
Yeah, send me the link. I'd like to see it. It doesn't ring a bell.
I noticed there's a lot of Europeans showing up in Bangkok. Today I was out and about a couple of places and, bumping into, Caucasian tourists who are speaking in a tongue other than English.
Yeah.
And, so I'm just presuming they're European. They're not Russian. I would recognize Russian, but very blonde people. So I don't know, maybe Swedes or something. Who knows? And there's a lot of them. You guys getting up that? Up there?
Yeah,
there's a lot of Europeans up here.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of Europeans. We're getting a lot of. I've got them living around me now, where I didn't before. A lot of Koreans too. A lot of Koreans, and a few Chinese people too. But,
yeah, quite a few Chinese actually.
Yeah, and they're a lot of them are staying. They're not, they're not tourists. They're living here now.
And I was at Big C the other day, and no joke. There was a Chinese family leaving the supermarket with a basket, and they didn't have like a bag to put their stuff in. They just threw it in the cart, to walk out with. It was full to the top with nothing but instant noodles, like those ramen noodles you get. There must have been 60 of them in there.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow.
Yeah. I found a place here near Soy 31, Sukhumvit Soy 31. I'm trying to remember the name of it. It's a Japanese place. Obviously, you'll see why in a minute. And it's like a gourmet ramen place. And it was amazing. Like, I have a friend who visited last week who happened to be Swedish as well, Eric. And Eric is a chef. He's a pretty knowledgeable foodie type, right? He's a high-end chef at that. And he said, "Oh, you got to try this, right?" He said, "Do you like ramen?" I said, "Yeah, I could eat it. It's not bad, right?" I've been there a couple of times since then. It's great. It wasn't cheap. It was kind of expensive, but if you ever come down here, I'm going to take you for ramen. That'll change your mind about ramen.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Japanese food, but I do love ramen. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah. This one was great. I ordered, I'm reluctant almost to order vegan stuff. I don't just kind of, I don't even like the word, but because of my predisposition to gout, if there are vegetarian options, I'll take a look at them. And there was a vegan option. And so I got it, and it was fabulous. It was just so good. It's just a mix of spices, and it's wonderful stuff. And one of the things Eric pointed out to me, he says, he goes, this whole notion of vegan when it began was thought of as a kind of kooky, weirdo foodie thing for a lot of people. He said, but what happened, because it rose in popularity, good chefs learned a lot of techniques from it. He said, so it's improved a lot. He said, he goes, don't presume that, he goes, there's a lot of good work that has gone on with high-end chefs that have learned how to use, non-protein, I don't know what to say, non-animal foods to put together in ways that are pretty, at least this ramen one was. I've since tried a pork-based one. I could eat pork, and that was equally impressive. I mean, it's just how they blended together with all of these spices that I couldn't even name if I wanted to. And
aren't Buddhists, don't they eat vegetarian? Strict Buddhists eat vegetarian certain times of the year?
Yeah, I think there's a week. They have a vegetarian week. I can't remember exactly when it is.
I know I went to a festival in Phuket one time.
Yeah, there is a week that
they were flogging themselves and all that stuff.
They'll just eat.
They were all bloody on their back and everything.
Yeah, I've seen them with
needles through their
I've seen
face
that.
And
I've seen pictures of it. I've not been down to it.
I assume that's Buddhist. I don't know.
There's a lot of different kinds of Buddhism. My favorite religion that I want to investigate, I know very little about, but it's a Vietnamese religion, and I think it's Buddhism based. Not sure. But what they've done is they've invented all of these modern icons, and this is in Vietnam where it developed, right? And it's they've made Elvis Presley into one of their icons, and Marilyn Monroe and Frank Sinatra, and all of these American idols and others from around the world. They've incorporated it into the iconography of their religion. They put it, and it's huge. This is a huge place. This very popular monk who got kicked out of Vietnam during the war way back when, recently died actually, but he became like a famous monk. Brown robes, dark brown robes, not the kind like the color of Spencer's shirt that we have here, but you look religious.
This is my silent protest.
That's Tennessee orange.
But it's like this fascinating, blend of modern iconography that they've somehow worked into their ancient religion. I want to go. I should be going to Vietnam after I get back from a trip to the States, and I want to go check that out. I like weird stuff like that.
That'd make a good video, actually.
Yeah.
Go see what that's all about. Because I had heard of it before, but I just never looked into it much. And I hear it's a huge, they have a huge following. They have a lot, a lot of people who are part of this this religious sect. So yeah.
Have you either of you been to that park down in Bangkok called Hell's Garden or whatever it is, where they got like all these tortured people statues and stuff?
Yeah, it's actually outside of Bangkok. I have
Yes,
been
Is
there.
it?
Yes, yes.
Is that religious based, or is that just some kind of
It's
freaky thing?
Buddhism. Buddhist.
Absolutely. It's like a little secret they keep in the closet. They don't. And I just went to a place. Where did I go? When we were traveling back from Loya about a month ago with Boo, we stopped at a lot that she remembered growing up as a kid. Oh, there's the one with the yellow alligator. It took her so long to say alligator. It was a difficult word for her that I had driven about a half mile past the place by the time I figured out what she was talking about. I was like, yellow alligator, that'd make a nice pair of shoes. So I turned around, went back to see the yellow alligator. It turned out it was not a real alligator. It's a statue of a yellow alligator. But it was, a typical country Y, with a yellow alligator and other, statues and stuff. And they had a couple of statues of these hell keepers is one of the characters in this Buddhist hell that you're talking about. That was one of my very first videos when I started making videos. There's one in Chonburi, the one that I went to. That's between Bangkok and Pattaya. It's closer to Pattaya than it is here. And I had a hard time finding it. Google kept sending me to the wrong place, but I finally got there. What an interesting day. It's these statues, very lifestyle statues of people being tortured by hell keepers. I mean, they're stabbing them and they're ripping out their innards, and there are birds eating the innards. And it's like this really nasty stuff. And what I found really interesting and telling about the Thai country is the hell keeper, the people doing the stabbing and the burning and the chopping and whatever else, and ripping their tongues out and all manner of stuff. There was this one woman, and they have a story that goes with each of them that they had translated. One of them, is very poetically written. I wish I could remember the style because it was rather funny to a Western ear. But this one woman who was being tortured, she was being squeezed in a vice, and the hell keeper was ramming something up the private parts, and there was blood. I mean, really graphic kind of on these cartoon-like statues. And she had been a wanton individual. She was lascivious, and this is the torture for lascivious types of ladies. I see. And I'm thinking, the girls in Pattaya need to come up and take a look at this. But what got me about it is there were these three people: an adult, a grandma, a young Thai woman, couldn't be more than 25, and a toddler, maybe 4 or 5 years old. And they're dragging this toddler around who's terrified and screaming. She hated being there. And I thought, this is like child abuse.
Almost.
And they're dragging her around, they're laughing and I'm showing them there. So when I Yellow Alligator Watt last month, they had a smaller version of that, and I pointed out, I said, "Oh, the hell keepers taboo," and she looked at me like, "How do you know about that?" It's like, I guess they don't like to talk about it. But the thing that I noticed, the hell keepers, the bad guys, the stabbing, chopping, ripping guys, are all dark skinned. They're all dark skinned, and all the people suffering are much lighter skinned. And I thought, I guess
interesting.
There you go.
Gotta watch out for that. I mean, that would get in trouble on YouTube.
We have a temple like that here.
Do we?
It's on one right off of Highway 1001 in Majo. I can't remember the name of it. Matter of fact, I did a video there. It's Wat Kid something or other. I can't remember exactly what the name is, but it's a smaller version of what they have in Bangkok. The one and it's not actually in Bangkok. It was not far from where you were in Ayutthaya, out there, and it's monster. They've got Buddhist statues bigger than I've ever seen before. It's really big. And
so it's kind of like a visual 10 Commandments for them, or what?
Kind of like Buddha hell is what I call it, and that's
they had specific tortures for specific crimes. The wanton was getting squeezed and prodded or whatever they were doing. There was as you walk in, there was a cauldron, a big cauldron of people, and the hell keepers were tossing in people into that, and there was a specific reason for that. They might have been, borrowers of money and things like that. The same stuff that we had in the West. It's like the Dante Alighieri. Made a whole big famous book about that. It's like, and unbeknownst to many, the bottom rung in Dante Alighieri's hell was ice. Most people think of it as brimstone and fire, but the worst part of hell for Dante was ice. They were frozen in the ice forever, and you never guess what the worst crime was. Being what is it when you're not loyal? Is a breach of loyalty. Like if you were the prince's advisor and you betrayed him, your ass would get frozen in hell.
Interesting. Yeah, I noticed Thais are very visual about stuff. You go like to their Watts, and you see like all kinds of different statues that don't really even go with the Buddhist religion. Like that one, it's got like Snoopy in there, and
yeah.
I'm trying to figure out where does that fit into their religion.
Yeah, I don't know. There's one not far from my house like that. They had Disney characters.
Yeah,
and it was kind of interesting.
You got to remember that the Thai Buddhism dates back to a time when Indian culture was very prominent here. We're talking 1400s now. We're going way back, but there's a lot of Hindu imagery that has been incorporated, like the royal, when they have royal ceremonies and rituals where the king comes out and wears that cowboy kind of hat, and I guess that was his coronation. And there are all manner of rituals that took place around that, and some of them were, it's like that doesn't match with Buddhism. And what I've been told by Thai people is it's really a reflection back to the Hindu influences from centuries ago. It's which I find kind of fascinating. Actually, I like mythology and stories like that.
Yeah, I see the what they call the Naga on different buildings too. Which is like what, the four-headed snake or something like that, or whatever it is.
It's funny. I just went on walking around the Prakanong Canal with my friend Paul, the Ronin Man guy, who has a pretty popular channel about the He-Man Woman Haters Club, I call it. And he had one of his He-Man Woman Haters with him, who was a big, tall boy from the middle of the United States that had come here and spent, I'm trying to remember how long, but it was years studying to be a monk. He was doing the monk thing. So he knew a lot about, monk stuff. He had given up on that finally because of politics, oddly enough. It's like, and it didn't surprise me. I'm sure there's a lot of status hierarchies within that mad world, right? And he finally pulled away. But I had this guy tell me what his whole version of the story of the Naga was. And it's, they're basically protecting the Buddha from the rain. He had been good to the Naga. The Naga were like underworld creatures, and they're snakes, serpents, and the Buddha had been kind to them, and there was a longer story involving his kindness. So when he was sitting under the Bodhi tree, meditating, to become enlightened, I guess, and it began to rain, and he was getting wet, so the Naga came up from under the ground and covered over the Buddha to keep him from getting wet. So that's what all of those. That's the story that the American Buddha guy told me. Although
interesting,
Ronin Man, the Woman Hater, had a different story. So of course, it's like, who knows? It's
crazy stuff. Crazy stuff, but
you see some interesting stuff here, though, for sure.
Yeah. Every day you see something different.
What I find really fascinating, and this is kind of nerdy. I don't know how much people will be interested in this, but I think that the Thai culture, one of the reasons that they reflect kindness and compassion more than other cultures that I've it's not that you can't piss them off, you can, but it's that they generally react in a forgiving and compassionate way. And I think it all ties into the fact that Buddhism is still intertwined with their modern culture, and it can be confusing and it looks suspicious, superstitious at times. Oh, I just got one yesterday. This freaked me out. I said, you got to repeat this, right? I'm talking with Boo account. I guess she's kind of my ex-girlfriend, but we still get along. So whatever that is. And the Boo account was telling me of this friend of hers who is a bar girl. She's a hooker, right? And she goes up to a Watt in near where's the bridge in the River Kwai province? That's
Kanchanaburi.
Kanchanaburi. Right next to Kanchanaburi province is a special Watt that working girls go to, when they feel the need to go visit a Watt. And it went by me quickly, and I was like, why do they go? And I'm thinking they went for some sort of forgiveness or redemption, or some Western freaking thinking like that. They're going to get more customers. There's a Watt that's special, that has a specialty that the girls go there and make merit and do whatever it is that they do for the purpose of having good luck in getting more customers. Johns, yeah. And I'm like, can you imagine a religion in the West doing something like that? It's like now
total opposite. Yeah.
Well, I don't think the religion is actually promoting it. It's more. And I'll tell you a quick story too. We've got a niece that lives in Bangkok, and she came up here, and there's a temple over on Loy Crow Road that they go and pray for when they want stuff. And she wanted us to take her there, and she wanted a new car. And so we took her there, and she prayed for a new car. And sure enough, a few months later on down the road, she got a new car, but she paid for it, and probably would have got it anyway. But that's kind of the way it is. And, it's just like this temple up behind my house. For years, you could go up there anytime, day, nobody there. Nothing. One lady goes up and she wins the lottery.
Yeah.
And now you can't get near the place. There was a woman that came up there, I think it's 2 or 3 months ago. She spent over 500,000 baht buying those flowers given to the temple. Yeah. And they've got 2 or 3 ATM machines up there. It's just amazing.
Yeah. I've seen it. They got just like storage rooms full of all the gifts. That people had given to the temple, full of flowers, full of biscuits, everything.
Crazy. Yeah. Stuff. And they come all the way from Bangkok to go there. It's amazing.
Well, Bo had a lucky Watt up in Chiang Mai that she wanted to visit for the same purpose. I think you said it was a different one than the one you're talking about now. But we went there just as we were coming out of COVID lockdown. There wasn't a lockdown. We had kind of had the place to ourselves. And but it was just the same story. One of the lottery vendors had sold a winner. So now it was considered a lucky Watt. People want to go.
Unbelievable. Oh, well. Yeah. Well, guys, we've been on for an hour. And if anybody's got any last-minute questions, throw them in. And we'll try to get them answered. If not, we'll probably see you next week, either Saturday or Sunday, one of the two. And I'll try to get it up a little bit earlier so people be aware of what we're doing here. But anyway, appreciate you guys coming in. Spencer, appreciate it. And Charlie, appreciate it. And we'll have a good week, and I'll be talking to you.
Okay.
Appreciate everybody checking in. Bye-bye.
See ya.